Welcome to Land Academy. I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth.
And sell it on the internet really fast.
We are Jack and Jill,
and this is the Jack and Jill Show too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hi.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about house flipping versus land flipping and some of the differences, the pros and cons. Here's a hint, they're both good. Before we get to it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on Land Academy's free online community.
Cool. How do I get to that free online community?
Landacademy.com.
Oh, cool. Okay, Chris asked, what is the significance of capping the assessed value so low? Chris is obviously in our world.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows to ask this question. Is it not worth it to mail to the higher assessed properties?
One of the shows that we did this week was called Mailer Yield. What mailer? I think it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What mailers yield better results? Maybe
Right.
it was Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Friday, by the way.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
So the significance, what we teach for beginning people is to take the bottom 20% of the assessed value. So imagine this. Imagine a county, maybe the county that you live in. Now take all the property in that county, every single property. Take out all the commercial real estate. Take out all the houses. Take out all the government-owned land. And so picture it in your head. Now you're left with vacant property. Vacant, unimproved property. Now, take all the properties out that aren't 5 acres. Or let's just say we're going to send a mailer in that county, all the vacant property that's between 5 and 8 acres.
Okay.
All right. Now, take the bottom. They have an assessed value of, let's say, between $1 million and $10. You want the bottom 20% only.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to send letters out that are undervalued. Really undervalued, like 40% of what they're worth, maybe less. So the strike percentage on that lower valued property is going to be better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's an imperative. If you do not do this the first time out, and you don't hit your numbers like we talk about for every 100 vacant properties that you send out, you're going to buy one. For every 2,000 offers you send on houses, you're going to buy one. You will not achieve those percentages if you don't do it in the bottom 20% of assessed value.
Right. Well, like Jack said, so you gave a range, am I going to send an offer to someone with a property, with a $500,000 assessed value? No.
Yeah.
And offering a couple thousand, that's not realistic. You're being realistic too.
5 acres in the middle of a city that's completely unimproved is assessed way differently than 5 acres in a very rural area.
Exactly.
You want the 5 acres in a rural area in the beginning. So the second part of his question is it not worth it to mail higher assessed value properties? Heck yes, to go ahead and do that. Mm-hmm. Your strike percentage is going to be less. I had done this on accident before.
It's true.
And we bought property.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It does. I have bought property for, the guy paid 20-something thousand for it, tried to sell it for 40-something thousand for it, and I bought it for $1,900.
That's right. So
I mean, come on.
I bought huge acreage properties in really urban areas at our prices.
Accidentally.
So when you're a little bit more established in your career and you're real comfortable with the mechanics of buying property and the whole thing, absolutely start going over go after some of those kahunas.
Well, and also too, what depends on what your criteria is, because we have members that are going for those higher dollar properties. They're buying, infill lots that are selling for $100,000,
right? And
they're trying to buy them for $40,000, whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
They're going
price
for those.
It accordingly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this in the interest of full and complete disclosure. When you go after these higher value properties and you send low offers like we do, you're going to get some kickback.
Yeah.
You're going to get more kickback than you do with the lower value properties.
It's true.
People are going to call you and say, I'm calling the police or something crazy like that. So just be prepared for it and be prepared that the percentages are lower. But the property you do buy, you're going to kill it.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to set you up. We want to set you up to make this easy. This is actually a perfect segue into what this topic is about today too, Jack. We're setting you up where you are going to have a good experience. You're going to make some money. You can easily double your money and get your feet wet, figure this out, and then go on. Where, for example, if you're trying to flip a house right out of the gate, you don't really, that's much, much harder and not as fun to do.
What you want to have is a positive experience your first time out. Mm-hmm. Okay. We have more members that come to us and say, oh, I had a real estate experience 10 years ago. I bought a house, I cleaned it up, and I lost my ass.
Exactly. I'm just going to say the same thing.
You want to have a positive experience. You don't want to get turned off just because you have one bad deal. Yep. And it's your first deal, unfortunately. You don't want to be turned off by the whole real estate investment scenario. Look, you already know people who are making a ton of money in this. And I'll tell you, they're not on HGTV. That's a lot of fiction, people.
Right.
In fact, that's what the topic's about. Flipping houses for flipping land. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, reach out to either one of us on Land Academy's free online community. Jill.
It's perfect. That was I think this transition, it's funny how when we put the shows together, really not me, but our team, I say we, meaning my world, puts our shows together.
I say we, meaning not me.
Yeah, we, meaning not me. So put our shows together. Our staff actually picks out, they really do go into our online community. So just so you know, put something in there. We might pick yours. And it's not just our members. It's anybody in our free online community. So our staff goes through and picks out questions and puts them in there for Jack and I to cover on these shows. And so they're not, the show is not planned around any question. They're totally separate events. So it's fun when they tie together. Like this one really kind of ties together. So what you just said, we're talking about house flipping versus land flipping. So I wrote down 3 negatives and I put down 3 positives to share. So
excellent.
My first negative is what you just brought up, Jack, which is we had a member that day say, I never lost $20,000 on a land deal.
Yep.
And then we're like, duh, there you go. Can you do that on a house flip? Absolutely. We heard a story here in the LA area of a friend of ours. We're talking guy losing $500,000.
$500,000 this guy lost on a house.
Yeah,
because he got in too deep.
Too deep. Bought it wrong. Did it wrong, and it was a $500,000 mistake. But now, what's interesting? The guy could recover because he does other multi-million-dollar deals. But do you really want to walk around losing $500,000 at all? No.
So in the beginning of this, we're going to talk about some terrible stuff, and at the end, I'm going to tell you exactly how to knock it out of the park, flipping houses and flipping land. Okay. Because I've done it all wrong.
Yeah. Do you want to hear some more of my other ones?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that was one thing, a negative. And the thing too, houses versus land. So many more things to go wrong on a house deal. I mean, we've done this, by the way. I mean, you can open up a wall and go, oh no, this isn't going to work. Or you have a beautiful renovation in mind and it's going to open up for the view and you realize, shoot, that's what's it called when it's holding a part of the house? It's walls you can't move sometimes. That to make a beautiful,
load-bearing wall.
That's it. Things happen that you can't get around. You didn't plan for, So, and then my third negative thing is it's all ties in, but like that $500,000 guy. I mean, it didn't sink his ship, but for somebody else, one deal can sink the ship.
Right.
So a lot of people, that's what Jack and I were talking about too. A lot of people come to us going, I thought all real estate was bad. I tried it. I couldn't do it. I lost my ass, like you said. I don't know if we could.
Oh my God, I've never heard you say bad words like that.
Can we
like
say
never.
that on this show? All right, sorry.
Probably not.
All right, anyway.
I started the ball.
You
though.
did. I kind of copied. But one deal can sink the ship and give you a really awful experience when you're doing a house. So that's my negative list. Do you have any more? Do you want me to go, or do you want me to go with the positives? I have more, but.
Well, go ahead.
In the world of negatives about flipping houses, there are more. I'm not going to.
Here's the thing with houses.
Go for an hour.
Every deal's different.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with land. Every deal's the same.
Yeah.
You want a machine. You want if you want a very boring transaction.
Yeah.
You want to be bored out of your mind in printing money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want any drama. You want the less conversations, the better. The less work, better. just efficiency and calm. And that's why land flipping's not on, it's not a TV show. Because it's boring.
Because you don't have to stand there and babysit it.
Yeah.
Like you do land.
Because there's no tragedy.
Or a house, I mean. You have to stand there and just literally, because we've done this. I pack a lunch and I'm at the job site all day long.
During a downturn, we renovated a few houses and what a mess.
I mean, it was, you know what? I looked at it like a hobby and I had fun with it. But then but I just sat there and I added up the money going, this is ridiculous. Yeah. I should not be sitting here. But somebody has to. And I was kind of lead designing stuff back then. And it was really, I enjoyed it, but it was not the best use of my time. That's for sure.
Right.
So, you want to hear my positives?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so here's my positives of the houses versus land. So land is, I never have to see it. I don't have to babysit it. Now we're at that level. When you're starting out, Jack's right. You want to go out there and you want to know what you're buying, but the level we're at, we don't look at them.
In the interest of full disclosure in a legal situation, there's very different laws that apply to real estate acquisition and sales with people who have seen the property. So it was designed, there was a lot of negative things that happened in the 40s and 50s with land specifically being subdivided and then sold for 6 different times, one piece of property. Right. So a lot of laws were formed about if you see it, your rescission time, if you go visit the property, your rescission time is a lot less than if you don't see it. So please be careful with that. Right. We choose not to do that. We're extremely experienced. Mm-hmm. If you're new at this, please consider going to see the property.
Right. Exactly. Another positive in our world, land versus houses, lower cost of entry. That's a huge one. What I can buy for $3,000 in land is phenomenal. $3,000 will get me nothing outside of Detroit.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Do you know what
That's
I mean?
That's a topic for a different show.
I know it is. But seriously, I mean, so just getting into the business and you got to there's banks involved. And so, I mean, and a lot of the decisions you don't get to make because you have banks involved and investors involved. Dream it up. So a positive for us is, lower cost of entry. And then my third biggie for me is, like you said earlier, Jack, no work. Yeah. I don't have to do anything to it. I'm not even mowing it. I'm not staking it. I'm not mowing it. I'm not having the power company come out and show where the power ends and how far away it is or whatever it is. I'm not doing any of that. It's so much easier.
If you take a piece of property and imagine the most tragic thing that can happen to it, like it gets burned down or whatever, it's actually more valuable.
It just cleared off all the brush. Awesome.
With a house, it would, like Jill said, sink the ship.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it. There's no insurance. Here's exactly how, did you get through all your list?
Thank you.
Here's what I see many brand new real estate investors do. And this is exactly what not to do with the house. You peruse the MLS. You look for sale property. Never do that. Never even access the MLS. Forget it. Even if you're buying a primary residence,
what's the MLS? Just kidding.
Multiple listing service.
I know that I'm joking. I'm being facetious.
Somebody got there first. Real estate agent beat you to it.
Yeah.
Don't look at those properties. I know it's tempting. I've actually purchased properties out of the MLS and made a ton of money, but don't. It's the wrong way. So you peruse the properties. You find a house that you think is going to make some sense. You go to a bank and you say, I want to buy the house. And they say, great. We'll just put 3% down. You have awesome credit and whatever. So you put 3 to 5% down, and now you're going to pay interest on a tremendous amount of money. So you're heading down the path of failure. You want to remove all the expense out of this. So who makes money on these deals? Well, the listing agent does. The buying agent does. The mortgage guy that got you this fantastic loan at 3% makes a bunch of money.
The bank.
The bank makes money. The person who did the inspection makes money. That's his full-time job. And
the contractors.
Who makes money? Who doesn't make money? You.
Yeah.
Yeah. The contractor makes 3 to 8, 10%.
Yeah.
Renovating the thing. Right. And then on the sell side, the listing agent makes money.
Yeah.
And the buying agent makes money. And
the chances all your money.
Of you making money on this deal, unless you're like a pro. Don't get me wrong. There's people who do this and they do it well, especially in California here. Don't get me wrong. You can do it very efficiently. For the rest of us, most of us, and I put myself in this group, it's just above my head.
It's a lot of work. I'm not
It's a
willing
lot
to
of
do.
work.
And
Every deal's different. And then you go to the next house.
Oh,
and then
man.
it's no wonder people like in Bigger Pockets, I see it all the time. Like, this is absolutely, and people teach this.
Right.
People charge a lot of money in a hotel conference areas.
Right.
$50,000 sometimes to teach this dumb way to do this. It's not. So here's a land deal. You send out a bunch of offers. You get access to the assessor's database. You incredibly intelligently choose the properties that make a lot of sense that might be sold. You send offers out. You get the owners seeking you out now. All right. Mm-hmm. The mail doesn't work for you. And you send out offers at 20 to 40% of what you think you can sell the property for, or what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are interested in doing that, they just want to get rid of it, like an old car in the garage, don't care about the price. They will find you.
Exactly.
And you're going to send them a check. Now, there's no real estate agents involved. There's no appraiser involved. There's no loan. You take all the expense out of it, and then you sell it yourself on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you make a ton of money. And you don't, after a while, you never have to go see it again. It's just another 40 acres. It's just another vacation lot in northern Michigan. In fact, you know what? I've done this so many times now. I know exactly who's going to buy this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to do any work.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do this.
You can have similar numbers too, by the way, because you and I know those people. We've done that. I can have a deal. I can have a renovation. I can flip a house and make $40,000. I can flip a piece of land and make $40,000.
Yep.
Gee, what would I pick?
With no work.
Gee, let me think about this one again. Oh, and I did it in 45 days, maybe 30 days, maybe even
Our
less.
cash in, cash out, I looked at it after that show, is about 30 days.
Right.
Here's how to do a house deal.
Uh-oh.
I described how not to do a house deal. This is how you do a house deal.
Okay.
In fact, Jill and I don't talk about it a lot, but
It's true.
we do house deals just like I'm about to describe all the time. And we will release a whole program on it in first quarter 2017. You find a buyer first. You find a guy that is a professional house flipper. And you sit down with them and you say, what area do you love to work in this city? And he will say, I love zip code X. And if I could this is the sentence you're looking for. If I had 20 houses in zip code X for 120 grand, I could kill it. I would make $1 million this year. And guess what you do then? You get up from wherever you met the guy, you run to your computer and you data mine through, wherever you're accessing the assessor database. And you send out a bunch of offers to houses, to house owners. Mm-hmm. Make sure they have no mortgage on them at all, because they're not making the decision. The people who have no mortgages are making the decision. The people who have mortgages, the bank's making the decision. You don't want any part of that. You're wasting your time. Send them offers for 40% of what you think the ARV is, which is the renovated sale price. Every $2,000 that you send out, one person's going to sign it and send it back, and you're going to close the deal. You're going to mark it up $10,000, not a penny more. I see a lot of people mark it up $80,000 and they wonder, what the heck? Mm-hmm. And you're going to disclose to your buyer that you're marking it up $10,000. Mm-hmm. You're going to make a big paraded deal out about it. I only want 10 grand out of this deal. And in fact, I'm not going to even go see it, buyer.
Mm-hmm. I hope you make 80.
I got a letter back. The guy wants to sell it. Here's the address. Please go over there, house renovator. Mm-hmm. And see if it's going to work for you. Let me know. I'm not going over there. And then you put the deal together. You don't even put the money. We don't even buy it. Mm-hmm. And now you've got the most excited buyer on the planet because you did all the work. They can't figure this out themselves. They're not good at that. They're good at renovating houses. They have a whole truck full of tools and stuff. They're not data people. We're data people. We don't have a truck full of tools. We have a database.
Yep.
And you do it over and over and over again. You can do it in any city. Mm-hmm. As long as you have that buyer that knows that area and is a professional house renovator, and that's how you make a ton of money.
Perfect. I couldn't say it any better.
Throw your tools away.
Yeah. .com.
So men, I see men.
Don't change a Lexus headlight. .com.
Of all the stupid stuff that men do, I see men get really hung up in, that cabinet's not put in right. I'm ripping this whole thing out. The guy before me was an idiot. And then they beat their chest and they get their tools out and they make a perfect cabinet. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Your wife doesn't care. I'll tell you that right now. She does not appreciate that kind of crap. She wants a massage. Throw your tools away.
She doesn't want you in her kitchen for 2 weeks too, like analyzing this whole thing and spending all this time. Meanwhile, she can't use her kitchen.
She wants a big kiss and a massage. She doesn't care about her cabinets that much.
I love it.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
And inspiration, that's me.
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to keep each other out of each other's areas and buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
If you're doing this wrong, you are alone in your real estate ambition.
Happy Friday.
I think that was pretty clear.
That's good, yeah. That was really good.
Did I sound too preachy?
No.
All right.
You're never, seriously, trust me, you're never preachy.
All right, that's good to know.
No.
I get animated about this because it's just so easy. And I hate to see people pay for education, like way too much for education, to learn how to do crap the wrong way.
I know. It is very interesting. And I think sometimes I look at it like a fad too. I'm like, are we really trying to make money? Or are we just trying to, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what it is? It's like, I think of the news, how on the news we're led on certain directions, certain stories. I think sometimes we're led down these paths. And it's not necessarily the right path, but you think it is.
Yeah.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Well, my neighbors are flipping houses. We should flip a house. Oh,
Yeah.
no, you don't need to do that.
And these shows aren't helping anything the way that they're done. They should do a real flip.
Right.
And disclose all the numbers, disclose the time frame, because you're watching a half-hour show.
It's true.
And it's like, oh, they renovated the house in 22 minutes.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. They didn't show the husband losing sleep.
Yeah.
They don't show the husband sleepless nights. They don't show that. And they don't show the wife crying.
Yeah.
Because they just cleaned out their savings, and now
That's
he's hitting up her mom for money, because
That's
that
right.
happens because they got to recover.
Yeah.
They don't show that.
The divorce
Oh
proceedings.
yeah, the divorce papers. That's true. And the therapist sessions. So
kids crying.
And keying
Right.
the other person's car.
All the soccer games they missed with the kids.
That's right. It's so great.
You know what? That would be a show. I would
That's
watch
what
that
I want to
show.
watch.
That's reality TV.
That's it.
That's reality.
We're gonna do that show.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We
are Jack and Jill, and this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.